When 12-year-old Lily, blind since childhood, first heard the growl from the far end of the kennel, she didn't flinch, she smiled. "He sounds lonely," she whispered. Behind the bars stood Duke, a retired police K9 no one dared to approach. The trainers warned her, "He's dangerous. He's attacked before." But Lily tilted her head, listening to the rhythm of his breath. "He won't hurt me," she said softly. And when her small hand reached through the cage, something miraculous happened. The growl faded, replaced by silence. No one could explain it, but that day, a blind girl saw what no one else could, a heart still worth saving. The morning light streamed softly through the window as Lily tied her shoes by touch alone. She had been blind since the accident 2 years ago, an explosion that stole her sight but not her courage. Though darkness filled her world, she'd learned to listen to life differently. The hum of air, the rhythm of footsteps, the whisper of rain. Her mother guided her hand gently. "You don't have to do this, sweetheart," she murmured. But Lily smiled faintly. "I want to try." That day, she was visiting a special training facility, one that paired guide dogs with the visually impaired. The echo of barking filled the hallways, sharp and anxious. Every sound made her heart race, but she steadied her breathing as she passed each kennel. The dogs quieted. All except one. The last door on the right carried a sign, "Duke, retired K9, aggressive." His growl was low and dangerous, vibrating through the air. Trainers whispered, "Stay back from that one." But Lily didn't move away. She tilted her head, listening, then whispered softly, "You sound angry. Or maybe just afraid." Everyone stared, expecting chaos, but Duke's growl faltered, replaced by silence. And for a heartbeat, the blind girl and the broken dog simply listened to each other. The next morning, the head trainer, Mr. Collins, met Lily and her mother in the observation room. Behind the glass, Duke paced restlessly in his kennel, his powerful body tense, his amber eyes sharp and wary. "That dog isn't meant for anyone," Collins said quietly. "He's a retired police K9, served 5 years in narcotics and tactical rescue. But something happened on his last mission." Lily tilted her head. "Something?" Collins nodded grimly. "His handler was killed in an ambush." Duke tried to fight back, but was badly injured. After that, he changed. He paused, lowering his voice. He bit another officer who tried to help him. Since then, no one can get near him without protection. Lily stood silently, gripping her cane. The idea of a dog carrying pain he couldn't explain stirred something deep in her. "He's not dangerous," she said softly. "He's grieving." Her mother reached for her arm. "Honey, maybe we should look at the others." But Lily shook her head. "No, I want to meet him." Collins frowned, torn between duty and curiosity. "You don't understand, miss. He only listens to ghosts." Lily smiled faintly, her voice steady. "Then maybe that's who he's been waiting for." The training room fell silent as Lily stepped inside. The sound of her cane tapping against the tile echoed faintly, followed by the low, steady growl of the dog in front of her. Duke stood behind the metal bars, muscles tense, eyes locked on the blind girl approaching without hesitation. Trainers watched from behind the safety glass, ready to intervene at any second. "Stop there," one whispered urgently through the intercom, but Lily kept walking. She stopped just a few feet from the cage and knelt slowly, her hand resting on the cool floor. "Hi, Duke," she said softly, her voice trembling but warm. "They told me you're scary, but I don't believe them." Duke's growl deepened, his claws scraping against the metal gate. Everyone held their breath, but Lily didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled. "You probably miss someone, don't you?" she whispered. "I know what that feels like." Her words seemed to pierce the air. The growling stopped. For the first time, Duke's head lowered, his breathing slowed. He sniffed toward her hand, then pressed his nose lightly against her fingers. Gasps filled the room. Lily's lips quivered as she whispered, "You're not a monster, Duke. You're just lost." And somehow, in that fragile silence, two broken souls recognized each other. Duke, the dog no one dared touch, began responding to Lily's voice alone. She'd sit beside his cage for hours, reading aloud, her tone calm, her words soothing. Eventually, the cage door stayed open, and Duke would rest his head beside her feet. It was a miracle no one could explain, but one afternoon, everything changed. During a training session, a metal crate fell loudly to the ground. The sharp crash echoed through the room, and in an instant, Duke snapped. His body stiffened, his ears flattened, and his eyes filled with something primal. He lunged toward the nearest trainer, barking furiously, teeth bared. Chaos erupted as people shouted, scrambling for cover. Lily froze. Her heart pounded, but she didn't move away. "Duke," she called, her voice breaking through the noise. "It's me. You're okay." He stopped mid-snarl, muscles trembling, torn between instinct and her voice. Slowly, she reached out, her trembling hand brushing against his fur. "It's just a sound. You're safe." Her words cracked, but carried warmth. "Trust." Duke's breathing steadied. He whimpered softly and lowered his head against her chest. Everyone stared in disbelief. The dangerous dog who once trusted no one had chosen the blind girl to guide him out of his darkness. The bond between Lily and Duke became unbreakable. They walked together every day, her hand resting gently on his back as he guided her along the quiet streets. For the first time since the accident, she felt free, unafraid of the world she could no longer see. But fate, it seemed, wasn't finished testing them. One rainy evening, Lily and Duke were returning from the training center. The crosswalk signal clicked, and Lily stepped forward just as a car came speeding through the red light. Tires screeched, the sound slicing through the downpour. In an instant, Duke's body moved faster than thought. He lunged, shoving Lily backward with all his strength. The impact came with a sickening thud. The car swerved, crashing into a lamppost. Lily hit the ground hard, but unhurt. "Duke," she cried, crawling through the rain. He lay a few feet away, motionless, his fur soaked and glistening with water and blood. People rushed from nearby shops, shouting for help, sirens wailing in the distance. An officer knelt beside her, eyes wide in disbelief. "That's Duke," he murmured. "The same K9 they once called uncontrollable." Lily cradled his head in her lap, sobbing. "You saved me." Again. And though Duke couldn't see her tears, he lifted his paw weakly, reassuring her that this time, he hadn't failed the one he loved most. Days turned into weeks. Duke's injuries were severe, but the doctors refused to give up, just like Lily. Every afternoon, she sat by his hospital bed, reading softly to him, her fingers tracing his bandaged paw. "You gave me the world, Duke," she whispered one night. "Now it's my turn to guide you." The words hung in the air, fragile but powerful. One morning, Duke's tail thumped weakly against the sheets. Then again, stronger. His eyes fluttered open, finding the sound of her voice like a compass. "Hey, partner," Lily said through tears, smiling. "You made it." From that day forward, recovery became their shared mission. Step by step, Duke learned to walk again, and Lily learned to lead him, roles reversed. Yet perfectly balanced. A month later, during a ceremony at the police department, the officers gathered to honor Duke's bravery. Lily stood beside him, her hand resting gently on his collar. Cameras flashed, but she didn't see them. She felt them. "He may have lost his purpose once," she said, her voice steady. "But he found it again, in love." The crowd stood in silence before erupting in applause. Duke pressed his head against her leg, and for the first time, everyone understood what Lily always had. You don't need eyes to see the heart.